pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need a motion to waive the reading and approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cybulski?
The only thing I want to comment, can I comment now or do I?
No, come on.
Discussion now.
Under the waive reading and approval of minutes on the minutes, it says Mrs. Pierson instead of Mr. Pierson.
I'm so
if we could
sorry.
just update that. That would be, I'm sure Brock would appreciate that. So yes, after that. Okay.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
And Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Members of the Geneva's Image Show Choir, under the direction of Michele Mather, will give a short holiday performance at this time. Will please give your attention to the stage.
Jingle, 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 jingle. Just hear the sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, tingling, too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you through. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you.
Giddy up,
Giddy up,
giddy up.
let's go, let's look at the shore. We're riding in a wonderland of snow.
Giddy up,
Giddy up,
giddy up.
it's grand, just holding your hand. We're gliding along with the song of a wintry fairyland. Our cheeks are nice and rosy and comfy, cozy are we. We're snuggled up together like two birds of a feather would be, two birds would be. Let's take the road before us and sing a chorus or two. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Birthday party at the home of Farmer Gray. It'll be the perfect ending of a perfect day. We'll be singing the songs we love to sing without a single stop. At the fireplace where we watch the chestnuts pop.
Pop, pop, pop.
There's a happy feeling nothing in the world can buy. When they pass around the coffee and the pumpkin pie, it'll nearly be like a picture frame by Curly and us. These wonderful things are the things we remember all through our life. Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, tingling, too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you through. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you.
Giddy up,
Giddy up,
giddy up.
let's go, let's look at the shore. We're riding in a wonderland of snow.
Giddy up,
Giddy up,
giddy up.
it's grand, just holding your hand. We're gliding along with the song of a wintry fairyland. Our cheeks are nice and rosy and comfy, cozy are we. We're snuggled up together like two birds of a feather would be, two birds would be. Let's take the road before us and sing a chorus or two. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Jingle, 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 jingle.
Testing. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So nice to see everyone here tonight. We are recognizing quite a bit of students. We know we have awesome students and staff here, and it's just so nice to see so many of you that have joined us today. So thank you for making the time to come out. This is my superintendent agenda. We're going to do student recognition, and then we will do November Eagle. That should say December. That should not be November. So that's, darn it, I'm already starting off not doing my thing. So think about that as December Eagle Team Member of the Month, and we're going to make sure we let you know who those are, and then we'll move on from there. So without further ado, we do have Dr. Brisky who's going to be handing out awards. So when you hear your name, students, please come on down. I want you to stand here because we're going to do each school, and then we want to get a picture with you, okay? So get your smile going, and we want to see you come down here, okay? So for Austinburg Eagle Awards, this is Austinburg Elementary. These are students that consistently exceed expectations in all that they do. They consistently demonstrate kindness, dedication, hard work, and positive attitude. We are proud of these students. The first student, Artemis Davis Preschool. If you're here, come on down. Good job. Here comes Artemis. All right, Ronald Fabian, 5th grade. Congratulations. Nalani Lozano, kindergarten. Then Calvin McLeod. Do you want to stay for a picture? Who wants to stay for a picture?
I got my loot. I'm going home.
Okay, we should have those 4 students up. We're going to get a picture.
Wait, here he comes.
Artie.
He's so little.
So what's this, last time?
Yeah, that's last month. Yep, the picture's last month.
Oh, they're precious. I love it. Cork Elementary School. So 1st grade students are soaring every day. These are our 1st grade students. They come to class prepared, add extra detail to their writing, practice their AR books, frequently volunteer in class, and model outstanding behavior throughout the school day. Ms. Kazakar has asked me to share how proud she is of all of their hard work and effort. So if you hear your name, 1st graders, please come on down and stay up here. Kennigan Kara here. Adelaide Lawson, if you're here. Amelia Varga. All right, now stay up there. We're going to talk about the 3rd graders now, so hang on. The 3rd grade, our outstanding student is Emma Welton. So Emma is very responsible and consistently follows her daily schedule. She approaches every challenge with a positive attitude, shows great flexibility by going with the flow. Emma has a nurturing personality. She is attentive to others' feelings and helps others. All right, and that is our 3rd grader. And finally, our 5th grader, Rebecca Trask. Rebecca is always helping and looking out for others. She's dependable, respectful, well organized. As a member of student council, she brings many positive ideas that contributes to the betterment of our school culture. Her thoughtfulness truly knows no bounds, and that's really nice, Rebecca. All right, here we go with GPS. We got quite a few here. These are soaring eagles. They stand up for everyone and themselves. They stay organized, always giving their best effort, and shows respect for themselves and others. So get ready, GPS. You got a lot of you here. Emmett Betcher, please come on down. Frida Blessing. Kendall Burkhammer. Amelia Burns. Oliver Dunn. Violet Frazier. Charlie Gale. And then Chase Gale.
Yeah. There it is.
Mason Grenolds. Ariana Hanyak. Catalina Harley. Eden Kearns. Mariana Rodriguez. Jordan Rhodes. Annalie Saudi. All right, yeah. Candace Sarvey. Jocelyn Scott. Lucy Tellman. And Tommy Vincent.
Did you see how she spells it? It's completely different. Yeah.
He's gonna know it's me.
There's so many there in the second row.
Yeah, that's how it was.
It's a big school.
Too.
You're making
Nice
Congratulations.
job.
really fruit.
You did it last time, too.
That's not fruit. You're right, though. Yeah, I did steal it.
You really like to get me nervous.
He's going to move your seat.
He likes to get me
I
nervous.
like to steal if I see
Jocelyn's page here.
All right, we have a bunch of people for Geneva Middle School. So get ready, Geneva Middle School. At the middle school, the 6th grade students consistently demonstrate what it means to soar through their strong work ethic, responsibility, readiness to learn. They come to class prepared, productive, high-quality work. They show respect and kindness to both peers and adults. Through their positive attitudes, generosity, helpfulness, and dedication, they set an excellent example for our school and community. Congratulations. So the 6th graders, please come down when you hear your name. Kerrigan Bean. John Bernardo. Major Brunner Blackshear. Jonathan Camp. Elena Maldonado. And Mason Spade. All right, 7th graders, here you go. These students consistently demonstrate kindness by welcoming others and making everyone feel valued. They take pride in their work, put forth strong effort in class, serve as a positive role model for their peers. Through their compassion, hard work, and positive attitude, they truly exemplify exemplify what it means to soar. All right, 7th graders, here you are. Blake Arthur. Dulcie Avilia Galvez. Alice Hicks. Delilah Miller. Layla Stefanski. Andrew Tidwell. All right, before I introduce our 8th graders, I'd like to also offer a special thank you to Blake and Andrew for extending a warm welcome to 2 of our new students. They are shining examples of soaring eagles. So thank you, young men, for going above and beyond. Finally, our 8th graders, these are consistent. They consistently demonstrate strong academic achievement, responsibility, a commitment to doing their best. They show kindness, respect, positive attitude towards peers, adults, making them outstanding members of the community. Through exemplary leadership, hard work, and leadership by example, they set high standards for others to follow. All right, 8th graders, here you go. Paige Burns. Claire Clemens. Akira Donor. Landon Hall. Jocelyn Ortiz. Dexter Silverman. And Ella St. Angelo.
Thank you, Michelle.
All right, and finally, our high school. The following high school students helped bring extra special Christmas cheer to the high school by creating beautiful, original artwork through the building. This project was self-directed and self-funded, making their efforts even more impressive. So when you hear your name, come on down. Naiva Hicks. Lorelei Martin. Andrea Ramos. And Ella Teal.
These are the artists. They are the artists. I think that's what he said.
Oh, yeah. Better Christmas through art. Cheer, Christmas cheer through art. Oh, and some artwork examples. That's cool. Oh, that's cool.
All right, we got all the students. You guys were wonderful. We're going to now do the December Eagle team member. These are staff members, so let's talk about our staff. And they do an awesome job. Our first staff member, Brianna Ribera, counselor. Brianna is a vital member of our team at Austinburg. She works endlessly to ensure all students' social economic needs are met and provides them with tools to thrive both in and out of the classroom. She consistently comes to school with a smile, a listening ear, and a helping hand. Brianna's hard work and dedication does not go unnoticed and deserves to be recognized. Cork, Melissa Doherty, principal. Unfortunately, she hasn't been feeling well, so I do want to say some nice things about her, though. She goes above and beyond and is always there for us. She has a happy smile and attitude, even during the tough times. She is a joy to work with. From GPS, Brittany Savage. Yay, Brittany. She is not only the librarian, but also a recess monitor. She's also a member of PBIS and makes sure that all the students have a great school experience by providing them with the necessary essentials, decorating the hallways, handling morning announcements, and filling in whenever possible. She greets our students in the morning and helps with afternoon dismissals outside all year round. Additionally, she is spearheading the Geneva collection, going district-wide to provide all children within the district with the ability to have appropriate clothing. And I will tell you, I'm going to talk a little bit about in my report about our clothing drive. And Brittany was a huge starter of this, and it ended up going district-wide, and we have so much success. So I can't thank you enough, Brittany, for all you do and how you care about our students here. Great job. Geneva Middle School, Samantha Liner. Liner, did I say that right? Sammy. So Miss Sammy, as all the students refer to her, and deserves to be recognized because she is such a supportive team member. Each day, Sammy goes above and beyond and to support her students' academically and emotional needs, making sure to check in with teachers if her student is having a rough day, needs extra time with assignments. She is very aware not only of the needs of the students, but for the aides, but many of our other students as she builds relationships with them. She also is a tremendous support to teachers and works alongside them. As an aide and a parent with the district, Sammy has cemented herself in our community, and she is one of the sweetest ladies. And when I first got hired, she talked to us. Remember, Jen? We were here, and she is everywhere. So congratulations, Sammy. You deserve it. Our high school, Ann Markajon, teacher. Now, Ann is a workhorse. That's what it says. She is always working. If there is something that needs to be done for the betterment of the school or her students, she will put in the time. She's a leader of so many activities and doesn't get the recognition she needs or deserves. Today, for example, she is running the blood drive at the high school. While I do not know the extended list of activities, she's always involved, and yes, Ms. Markajon is always here and always doing what she can for students. So congratulations, Ann. In our transportation maintenance and board office, David Wright, our maintenance. Are you here, David? Well, I will tell you, Dave is a dedicated employee whose knowledge of the district and has many facets to maintenance is invaluable. Dave can always be relied upon to complete any task asked of him and is dependable and is second to none. He's a great man, so congratulations, Dave.
And we're out.
All right, and that's our recognition. Feel free to leave, or you're welcome to stay for the rest of the board meeting, but we do that up front in case you do want to leave, so please take some time to do that if you'd like. And thank you again. Merry Christmas, and have a great New Year's. Thank you, everyone.
Your dad will be here to get you. You could look and see where he's at.
I love that. That location sharing thing, it's the best.
Russell. See where he's probably at the church dropping Joseph off for
Best
scouts.
thing ever.
Oh, they haven't got to scouts yet.
Well, there goes the whole audience.
That's what happened last month.
Where do you drive? Where do you come in from?
Not that thing. Shelley's not sad.
That's a drive.
I know.
271 can be so interesting. Although the way back is a lot better because you don't have that two-lane horrifically.
I wonder if Joe
49
knows he's going to have to sit down
Mentor to
here
hear around
next
that
month,
time from
not
Medina
stand
was
back
probably
there.
not very fun.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We should drive.
Joe, the countdown's on. Next month, you'll be down here.
Time is way
Did Stephen Andrews come tonight? No?
I don't know. I don't see him. No, I don't think he's here. He said it doesn't look like it.
I was gonna rewrite some kids' names, but that was me. Have you ever seen that Billy Madison?
Yes, I have.
Was he here last month?
I don't know.
Excuse.
All right.
I don't think so.
That'll be fun.
All right, it's time for the public comment portion of the meeting. If you would like to make a public comment, you are welcome to come up to the microphone. Please state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes to speak. Welcome to join us at this time.
She's coming for
Oh,
us.
Miss Sammy, I knew you would come and join us. That's right. Maybe
You could turn it the other way.
Yeah, there you go.
Sammy Lechner, 1602 State Route 307, Austinburg. First, thank you. Thank you. It was exciting. It was a very big surprise to be nominated for this. But I just wanted to, should have said something last month, but what a privilege it is to work with so many wonderful people and students. So thank you. And thank you to Jamie and Marti for your service to the board, the community, to our students. I appreciate you guys and all that you have done. Kind of sad to see you both go, but thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next on the agenda, we're going to have some discussion about the athletic facility.
Sure. Can't wait to read Geneva Uncut after this. I'm sure they have very political things to say already.
Yep, you could take that and go up or.
I was going to do it from here.
Do whatever you want.
Okay. Hard acts to follow tonight. So anyway, I was here in May to talk about the athletic improvements project. We had a lot of options. The board ended up deciding to move that to a bond. Obviously that wasn't successful, but that doesn't mean the committee in the spirit of what was talked about wasn't successful. We got a lot of conversations talking, a lot of people talking about the exciting things that could happen athletically. Michelle, or Shelley, do you mind just maybe talking about maybe what we heard from the bond? Or Michelle?
Yeah. So, as we all know, we had bond issue on the ballot in November. It did not pass. So we reconvened with a committee, which we're going to talk a little bit about as we go into this presentation. But what we wanted to reflect with this committee was that we heard what the voters told us and how they feel with regard to paying for sports facilities in this community. However, we also understand the importance of planning for students and their extracurricular activities, given the changes that are happening at Spire and what's going to be coming forth in the years to come with Spire and their facility. So in order to plan for the future of our students and their athletic future, we have come together, had discussions, and come up with a plan. And we'd like to talk a little bit about that plan and what we've come up with as a committee and present that this evening. Again, this is a conversation and a work in progress. This is not something that we're making a decision on tonight. These are the thoughts that we've all come together, and you'll see who came together in this committee, and what we talked about and what we've pared it down to into what we think are the must-haves and what our thought process is. And Russell's going to talk a little bit about that tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Michele. Yeah, so the goal tonight for the agenda, kind of talk about what we heard. We reconvened with that committee twice since the November bond. We'll talk about some relevant experience that both GPD has, but also some that the district did some homework after that bond. They got to visit Conneaut, Berkshire. We've obviously done a lot of projects in Northeast Ohio and Central Ohio. Wanted to share kind of what that scope might look like if district dollars are used, and then kind of what the project would look like. So we're really excited to share where the committee ended up, because where we started, we had lots of options, lots of discussion, and what we heard loud and clear was, let's see what we can do with what we have. And so what we're going to share tonight is kind of that exciting plan that we put back together after the November bond. The committee, this is committee number 2. It modified slightly from the original committee, but a lot of parents, student athletes, board members, city council members. We had obviously the superintendent, board members, council, foundation, some community members. So for me, it's in some ways I'm the conduit and I put the pencil to paper, but I really need the voice of Geneva to speak to me and kind of tell me what's the most important. I draft and draw and create illustrations and estimates, but really I need the voices in the room to kind of tell me what is most important to Geneva. I listened, I heard, I kind of responded, and kind of happy to share where we ended up with this committee. The goal, obviously, with this second committee, or this new attempt at this, is to really listen to what the community talked about and come up with a plan that could work with the district's current budget. And then, again, we did some tours. We looked at projects that had similar scopes. And so towards the end of this, I'll share what that presentation looked like. Really quickly, and I won't spend too much time on this, but GPD is the company I work for. We're architects, engineers, and planners. We do fields like this all over the state, and that's why it's exciting to kind of listen, because odds are we've done a project similar nearby, and so we can kind of use that experience, use that knowledgeable estimating, visualization, and then kind of do kind of the lessons learned on what we did over there and what we maybe could provide that same service in Geneva. Here's just some field work in Stark County, Lorain County, Medina County. Obviously, there's projects all over, and since COVID, there's been a huge influx in athletic fields, getting kids active, and then creating athletic fields that can be multi-purpose and flexible. I think that's the important thing, because there's so many athletes that use it in different ways. I know band, soccer, football, obviously track. Those are important pieces that are going to be talked about in this athletic facility in a minute. One of the most comparable, I wanted to just highlight this project in New London. It's about 40 minutes north of Ashland. This project had almost all the things that Geneva, after they really looked at what they needed, had. So, except for a few pieces, and I'll note that in a second. So, track, field, they did a grass or sod athletic surface on the field. They did lighting, sound, and then they did a building which housed concessions, public restrooms, ticket booth, and a press box for a hard cost, and I won't get into the total construction cost, but about $4.7 million for hard cost, meaning the actual bricks and sticks that go into the project. So right away we were like, wow, that's a really exciting project. The district rolled up their sleeves. They found a couple different funding mechanisms to pay for extra things. So they brought and relocated their existing bleachers. They funded the lockers on their own, and then they built the ticket booth on their own. So like when I mentioned the project scope, they really rolled up their sleeves and said, like, we know what our budget is, and here's how we're going to do some extra things, either later on or on our own or outside of the project scope. So that was an exciting one to share. And then for Geneva, so we again met with committee number 2. We met twice in December, worked really hard to get to this point, but this isn't the end of the conversations. This is really just a continuation. We're excited to come back in 2026 to kind of share more, but this is where we're at today, and we're really excited about this project update. So if you remember the board meeting in May, we had 4 options. The board ended up deciding on option 2. That was what was presented on the bond. This is kind of option 5, and it really scales back on that scope, budget, and everything associated, and really geared to focus on what was needed on day 1, but allows the infrastructure to expand day 2 and beyond. So what our scope is here is a new football and soccer stadium with 1,200 home bleachers, 500 visitor bleachers, an 8-lane track, artificial turf, and that would be striped for football and soccer. Obviously, the band would be able to use that, soccer, football, track, and there'd be some exciting opportunities for practice. I think it's important to note that we designed this with turf. There's an added cost there, but you do it once and the infrastructure for under drains are in place, and then other things that you could do outside of that will already be sort of carved out beyond the scope of the track. So if you wanted to think about restroom facilities or concessions, you can do that outside of the project and outside of the limits of the track, and then continue to develop in the future if those funds become available. This includes a press box, new lighting and sound system, and one of the things to mention about lighting and turf is that during shoulder seasons in March and late fall, those kids are going to be able to use that field immediately because of the turf and because of the under drains. You're going to be displaced immediately if you do sod, and so one of the improvements beyond that New London project I shared is that was a grass sod field. They're getting 1 use out of that per week, whereas you could get 50 uses out of a turf field per week. The committee started to look at options and ways that if money became available, where would that money be best directed? And so from a base bid, I'll call it, or the option number 5, this is where we landed on that committee. And obviously, we can't do a 2D view without showing kind of an exciting visual, so I don't know if I'll be able to point. Yeah, so the existing high school is here. Obviously, South Ridge is here with the headlights coming at dusk, the nice lighting for the field, and that field being able to be utilized, obviously, in the winter months where the sun is setting at 5:30. This would have a paved access off of the existing parking. It would try to avoid a retaining wall because their grade change is pretty significant off of South Ridge, and so we shifted the field slightly north, which gives us a ton of options in terms of field location, prime real estate in terms of location from the existing high school, so kids can access this field directly from the existing high school, and then as well as utilizing the parking and ring road that goes around the north side of that future stadium. What this plan does also is offer some opportunities for future development too. So practice fields are something you can think about in the future. There's so many opportunities in order to, enhance what we're showing here, but we wanted to at least put the needs of Geneva in this committee first, and then offer opportunities for enhancements if that time ever comes. And so the important things I heard, at least in these committees, was we're going to try to develop a project that is as close to the money that the district has in their budget and work towards that. I think that we heard that loud and clear. I wanted to put that on bullet number 1 here. Ask the question of where do we go from here? Because obviously timing is important, and playing at Spire the lease is going to run out at some point. So there is a little sense of urgency, but I know the communication and the dialogue is not over. 2026 is around the corner, and so we just wanted to kind of share where the committee was at today, talk about the future. I know we have 2 new board members coming starting in January, and so again, this was meant to kind of be an exclamation point on 2025 that there is some exciting things happening with the athletics improvements project. There's obviously a lot of dialogue that's going to be coming soon in 2026. I'm happy to continue to share the updates as they become available, but from a position now, this is an exciting place to be for Geneva, and we put together a plan that works within your budget. So I'm happy to answer any questions that the board might have.
What are the triangles?
The throwing pit.
Oh yeah, shot put and discus. Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of software do you use that's so good you get lens glare on the cars? I like that.
Yeah. 3ds Max. I
feel like I'm really there.
Yeah, you are. That is your car.
So this is within what we have available to spend?
So what we did was put together a hard cost number, and then there's soft costs, meaning like architectural engineering fees, survey, geotechnical. We put bricks and sticks together and feel we're really, really close to where that number is that I heard the district has budget-wise. I can't speak to the specifics, that's not my world, but we put an estimate together based on what we're showing and feel pretty comfortable with where we're at.
So that's around approximately $4 million.
If anyone wants to help us build some more buildings, just let us know.
I mean, we can have that conversation. It's up.
Paul, do you want to mention?
So we had to pass some policies because we can't just go out and seek that kind of stuff. So if we look at our marketing and revenue policies, you'll see that we had a second reading at the last policy, and that's been changed. And then on this one, actually, I was really excited to see Montrose has some stuff, but we can't go out and seek that until we have a policy that dictates how we can use that money. Because if we don't have a place to put it when it comes in, can't take that money. We have to be able to tell you guys that's exactly what happens. And Shelley's the keeper of the keys when it comes to anything with that.
Okay, so there's many wheels in motion here. To your question, we are in that realm of that price of what we allocated to fund the difference between the two options. To Russell's point, to what he said, as far as bricks and sticks and what we're going to have to fund in architectural costs, we would have, as a board, we would have to make a decision if we were willing to back the difference of what we would have to put behind the numbers. The plan is, we are within, what would you, as far as like, I would say within, I don't have those numbers in front of me. But our goal is the 4.6, I would say we are within probably a million and a half of that.
So it's getting closer.
Absolutely getting closer. However, with our last meeting that we had with Russell being there, we're looking very much towards a committee to seek out naming rights and donors and grants and funding. However, we have to have a policy in place to do that. We do not at this time have a policy in place to start going out and soliciting those types of donors. So we have to have so many readings to do that. That discussion is going to happen tonight as well. Before we go out and start looking for that, we want to have a hard and fast committee with people that are going to be representative of what our message is to the community to go out and solicit those funds. This is what we're looking for. If you're looking, we don't want 20 people going out and asking folks for donations, and then we find out we have 10 people that want to have naming rights for the stadium box, and then we realize that but I said I wanted to sponsor that. We want to have a very hard and fast plan of what that's going to look like. In order for us to do that, we need to have an airtight policy. So we've got to put things in place before that can happen. We're starting that process tonight with the looking at that first policy. Once that committee's in place and then they form what they want it to look like, and we have those folks lined up to go out and say, this is what we're looking at. We would like to have above what this cost is. Then we can go out and have naming rights to extra things. I mean, if you look at this field, we don't have even restrooms here.
There's no showers in locker rooms. These are things that are gonna be above and beyond. But I mean, I will say, you know, football playoffs, we were at CVCA, there was no restrooms there. They had there were porta-johns, but they were the nicer kind that had the running water. You go in, you could wash your hands. I mean, there's ways to get around it, but again, we're looking at what we can afford. Again, we're listening to what the community said, and we're looking at what we can fund with cash on hand right now, and then what we can go and do as a board out in the community. And, you know, we want to have community involvement without going to the taxpayers. This is what it's gonna look like. So, you know, but we wanna make sure that we have policy in place. We have a committee that's gonna go out and, you know, be an appropriate and positive face of the district, so that when we go out and solicit those funds, it's everything that we want it to be, both fiscally responsible, legally, and, you know, policy responsible as well. So that's kind of where we're at based on what we talked about at the end of that last meeting. But again, the other piece of this is, we wanted to have this conversation tonight, and we don't want to make any hard and fast decisions tonight because we have 2 new board members coming in. And it's not appropriate for us to be, you know, driving hard to make this decision tonight when we have 2 people exiting and 2 new people coming in. The optics of that are not good. We want to have our newcomers come into this place and of you know, boardmanship, and feel confident that what we're doing is appropriate, you know, that they're not being snowed, and we're not trying to do something that they're going to be basically, you know, put into a corner and forced to support. We want them to hear what we're talking about. We want them to be aware of what's going on. We want them to know what we're looking at and the conversations that we're having, so that they have time to process, ask questions, and think about this as well. That's just responsible boardmanship, and that's what we're looking at doing right now. It serves no one for us to try to, you know, push something through quickly just to say this is what we're doing because this is what we want to do. We have neighboring districts that are going through some very tough times right now with, you know, board members that are trying to push things through because they're leaving on December 31st. We're not doing that here. You know, we're doing things in a responsible way, so if there's questions, we can answer those questions. We want to have policy in place, and, you know, we want to do it the right way and above board. So that's what we're doing tonight. So you can think about these things, you can ask the questions. You know, all of this presentation will be up on the website, so if you have questions, you can reach out to us, and we can do our best to, you know, answer them and give you the information that you need, so.
And to Mrs. Krieg's point, one of the most important things is the whole reason we designated that money in the first place wasn't to try to fast track it. We didn't know at that time if we were going to be able to keep that amount of money because the state was changing carryover rules. And at the last minute, the problem we had, which forced us to even consider it so early before we had designated all of this, I think in October finally it went away, and then we were still holding our breath through November. I remember emailing you, Shelley, and so that's really, you know, people say, well, why did you do this so quickly? Why didn't you garner more input? Which is true and good. The reason why is we needed to just at least give some type of designation that didn't limit that to a carryover, which then went back to the state and redistributed.
So, I mean, that money that when we went to the voters in November, that 4.6, that is still sitting there. So, you know, whatever, it's not, you know, a use it or lose it type thing. That money is still sitting there. But so we want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and we're being responsible about it. We'll have those conversations, and then we can move forward, you know, appropriately and see what we all decide when we, you know, move forward in January. We'll have those discussions and go from there. But that's kind of.
So the bricks and sticks that you're talking about, does that have like the underground electrical and stuff that would be needed to then add to it,
For
like expansion purpose?
so it includes the underground utilities for the turf. It includes everything that's shown. So the lights, obviously the electric to that, the underground for that, the water for the, you know, you're gonna need some utilities out to the field. For a building though, if you're Is that what you're asking about?
Well, like the other plan had like the locker rooms and the restrooms, and then I don't see a scoreboard either. So I'm just curious as to if there's any.
That's on me,
like-
sorry. There should be a scoreboard showed.
Okay, all right, all
I'm
right.
sorry.
I was just curious because
If I'd have not done the lights on the car,
I was gonna say,
there should be a scoreboard.
It's there, it's just the lens glare. Yeah.
No, there should be a scoreboard. It's kind
Okay.
of like the entire stadium that you would expect for a football, soccer venue with track and band practice and other sports that can use it. So the scoreboard is included in that. It should be shown here.
Well,
As
what
well as,
about
the
like?
track equipment is included.
The track
hurdles,
equipment,
all
the
of those
disc,
things, that's
Well,
part of
like
that.
Ashtabula has like the band.
That is not.
that's not there.
So could that be added to
Absolutely.
something like this?
Absolutely.
So like say Gamba raised the money.
Sure.
It could go in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you hear that, Sammy? Yeah,
She was
Sammy.
very vocal. If we
How
gave
much
her
is a
another
band
5
shell?
minutes, she'd be here.
Yeah. How much does a band shell cost?
Yes, Sammy was very loud and clear about that band
Yeah, I know.
being represented. So
But it would fit. I mean, if the funds
Yeah.
if the funds
Yeah.
showed up, it would fit.
And that's kind of the goal, right? Get the things in place that can't be moved and can become flexible enough on the outside of that track edge, because all the money's from the 8th lane in, and everything else can sort of be a la carte and added later.
I love this idea. My first thought when the levy failed was, then I think we should build a stadium with the money that we have. And even though I'm not going to be here to help decide that and see that through, I agree with that philosophy, right? If the community doesn't want to give us any more money, then we'll take what we have and build what we can. And I love that idea, so thank you all.
Forward motion, baby steps, we'll get there. Pivot, we're pivoting.
Pivot.
We can pivot. Thank you
Any other
so much,
questions?
Russell.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Russell.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
shout out to Russell, who has
Yes.
literally listened to us go from here to here to here to here, back to here. He's been amazing.
There's
so
many other
thank you.
options that aren't shown too. It's like this is rubber band. So happy to be here and share any ideas in the future too. So
Thank
have
you.
a happy holiday.
Yes,
Thank
thank you
you.
so
You too.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, time for the report of the superintendent.
All right, so the first one, I recommend to the board approval of an enclosed letter of understanding between Geneva Area City Schools Board of Education and GATA. This is a letter of understanding. We had.
I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
What this is we have about 60 or so families that we have to transpose letters into Spanish, and although Google Translator does that, we do need someone to read through those to make sure that they are appropriate and that they make sense. So we are, one of our teachers is willing to do that outside of their time, and we are paying them for that. That's a huge, huge win for us, and I appreciate the teacher doing that.
Any questions? All right, roll call.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, I'm super excited about this one, so I hope you are too. I recommend to the board approves the enclosed agreement between Anchor Point Strategies, LLC, and Geneva Area City School Board of Education. This is a community resource center project. So when I came in to the district, it actually was kind of interesting because I guess I'm going to be transparent. I didn't know we have a little house up there. Did you know we have a house up there on our
Don't
property?
even
Yes.
start that, Paul.
Don't even
Okay.
start about the house.
First off, before we do that, so moved.
Okay, wait.
Second?
Second.
I'm second.
All right, now let's
Go.
talk about
Okay,
this
now let's
house.
talk about it. Now, I guess this is a sore subject, but I was really elated to know that there's a house up there that we could probably utilize. So we are partnering with a group that that does what's called a resource center. And what a resource center is whatever the community needs, this center is going to be can provide to this community. And that could be in the form of medical, that could be in the form of If students need to get, the sports students need to get physicals, if it's dental, if it's social emotional needs. And this company, who they're close friends of mine, they have done this before in other districts. They've been very, very successful. And what they're going to do is they're going to do a needs assessment of our community to see what we actually need. The location will be the house, and what they do is they go for different grants where they can fix up the location. And 100 days, you'll see in this proposal, 100 days, we should have something that we could utilize for the community. We are using DPIA funds, so there are certain funds that have to be allocated to these types of initiatives. So we're going to allocate some funds to this, and do you want to talk about DPIA funds?
Sure. So when we get funds from the state of Ohio, there are restricted funds and unrestricted funds. And so the state, we have 5 different categories of restricted funds, and DPIA Disadvantaged People Impact Aid is one of them that we have. They do tell us what kind of items we can spend that money for. When we decided to go CEP, which is Community Eligibility Provision, that's the program where everyone gets free breakfast and lunch in the district. So we started that program, and in that did increase our funds. So we jumped up almost $1 million a year in these restricted funds that we have because we went to this type of lunch program. So again, if we don't spend this money that they give us, we have to give it back for these restricted funds. So this is definitely a wonderful thing that Dr. Lombardo has found to go ahead and try to renovate what we have to utilize to use for the district. So again, these are funds that have to be used for this reason. So this is wonderful.
Fantastic. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. It's outstanding that we have a great use for that house on the hill that we all despise.
I didn't realize it was such a sore subject. I just thought it was a house. Yes.
It's been
You
sitting
guys want a
there.
stadium? What are you guys doing with that house on the hill?
Playing football.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Paul, for your vision on this, because it really is exciting for our community. It's something that we absolutely need, and I think it's going to be a wonderful addition to our community.
And I've seen people use DIPA funds for other things, like just like mobile clinics, or getting people in for there's the dental programs or things like that. I know that some of the behavioral health centers, so to have a facility where they can go, where it's not like, hey, you have a cavity, let's go to the auditorium and in front of everyone and get this done. It does offer a little bit more dignity,
Yes.
and it's nice that we already have that resource. So thank you guys so much.
Sure.
When do they foresee that it would be open and we would be able, and folks would be able to use it?
Yeah, so currently they're looking for funding. It's going to, I did a 100-day plan with them. So after the 100-day plan, we should have something in place, and there'll be more to come on this. This is my first time venture through that, quite honestly. I really trust this company, and the people I work with are close to me as far as colleagues, and I think it's going to be a really, really exciting adventure that's going to be great for the entire community. It'll be staff, it'll be students, it'll be whoever needs something will be able to come to the house and get whatever they need. That's
what we should call it, the house.
Well, maybe we'll call it the house. Why not? We'll call it the house.
The house, Community
On the
Resource
hill.
Center.
The house on the hill.
House on the hill.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. All right, I love it. Okay, anything else?
Where are they out of?
So his name is Joe Specia. He was the Wycliffe superintendent. And if you've ever been to Wycliffe's Resource Center, it's absolutely amazing. And he's got it to be where it becomes self-funded. So we're going to figure it out in a way where it can self-fund itself. So it's not going to cost the district a lot of money to put on. So Joe Specia, amazing man. He's retired twice, but now he's retired as a superintendent. And I said if I ever had the opportunity to do something like this, I'd call him, and he is so on board with Geneva and this project.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome.
Roll call.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
And Mrs. Krieg.
Yes. Motion carries.
All right, well, I recommend to the board the approval of the enclosed letter agreement between District 1 and Geneva High School to run a sportsman sponsorship on behalf of the Northern Ohio Buick GMC dealers, specifically Montrose GMC for the 25-26 school year. Jennifer Crosley put this together, and wait, I always get too excited. I'm going to stop talking.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, go.
Can I go now?
Yep, you can go now.
So Jennifer Crosley brought this forward. I really have nothing to do with this, but Jennifer said this is a fundraiser that they do, and I don't know if they did it last year, but they have done it in the past. They're willing to give us funds if we promote Ohio Buick GMC dealers 4 times. We have to put their stuff in our documents and on the website, but this is just an agreement that they will give us some money, and the coaches work through this and use that money for their appropriate teams.
Any questions?
Is there a separate letter?
There's an agreement here.
Separate.
Did you not get a copy of that? I'm sorry, it was electronically.
Is it this one? Oh, here it is. Okay, found it.
You got it?
I found it.
Okay.
Yep. Roll call.
Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg.
Yes.
And Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Yes.
No, they're in my report. All right, well, I recommend to the board the approval of the closed memorandum of understanding between Lake Erie College and Geneva Area City Schools. We do have a...
So moved.
I swear I'm going to get that right.
It's all good. I know we all do it. It's all good. I'll give a second.
Okay, all set.
Go.
All right, so we do have a student teacher coming from Lake Erie College, and it's appropriate to have an LOU between a university and a school district when you have student teachers, and this is that representation.
Perfect.
Do we know which building?
Jen, it's Cork? It's
Cork.
Cork Elementary.
Thank you.
Sweet.
When I was in 4th grade, was it 4th grade? I think 3rd or 4th grade at Cork, there was a student teacher in my classroom. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Those LEC students are kind of sketchy, though.
See you wearing
Speak
the
for
jacket.
You know, you ought to know.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Roll call.
Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg.
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Yes.
And Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, this next one, no board action is needed. We're going to be reviewing 3 policies. Our process here is 2 policies before board takes action. So we will be talking about 3 policies. The first policy is policy 5112, entrance requirements. We wanted to align our entrance requirements for pre-K, kindergarten, and we wanted to align it with our administrative guidelines. Unfortunately, that wasn't done. So this just aligns what we currently do with our policy of 5112, our entrance exam. The second one is small unmanned aircraft systems. Do you know what that is? That's drones. But they call it unmanned aircraft systems. So it's policy 7440.03. What this policy does, and we needed to make a change on this, this policy allows us the opportunity, with approval of the superintendent, to fly drones. You have to be very, very careful when you're in schools and you're flying drones. Some of our coursework, or moving forward our coursework, a lot of kids will be, and I wouldn't say a lot of kids, but there are some courses that will allow kids to have that experience of working with drones. It's something it's something that kids are doing, that we are doing as a, just as a society. The policy actually restricted us 100% not using drones. This gives quite a few parameters around it, but does give the option that we can use drones if it's done appropriately under these parameters. All right, and our third one is 9700.01. We do not have this policy currently in place. This is the advertising and commercial activities. So as Michele was talking about, we need, and Barack, we need to have a policy in place if we want to move forward with naming or sponsorships. So this will allow us, once this is approved, to go out and actually ask for donations for the athletic facility or for any facility that we have here, Geneva area schools. It talks about the product and sales. It talks about, and it's very, very detailed on what we can and can't do when it comes to advertisements. And at the very end of this policy, you'll see I put in specifically language around sponsorship and naming rights. So this is an essential policy before we go out and do any of that. All right, do you have any questions on the three policies? Again, you do not have to make any motion on this, but if you have any questions, I can answer them, or, you know, throughout the next month or so, if you have questions, you can send those to me, and I'll make sure I get you those answers. Okay? We good? All right, we're going to go on to personnel actions. So the superintendent, myself, I recommend the following personnel actions for the 25-26 school year. And we're going to take these all the way down. We have extracurricular assignments are there. Substitute teachers, special needs assistant, housekeeper, substitute cafeteria, SNA, substitute bus driver, all the way down through temporary contract. I believe I'm also taking the resignations, right, Shelley? You'll tell me if I'm wrong. All the way through number 7. Is that correct, Shelley? I can take all the way through number 7?
Yep, to the resignations.
To the resignations, okay.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just out of curiosity, how are we on substitutes these days? Do we have enough to cover the absences and things?
Well, we don't have enough to cover every single absence, but it's better than it has been in the past, is what the principals are telling me.
All right, thank
But
you.
it is tough out there for substitutes.
Yeah. Maybe I'll sub them, but I don't work for the district.
There you go. It is tough out there for substitutes.
I know as a teacher, yes.
Substitute teachers are pretty filled. I mean,
It's the other ones, the classified.
the
is-
SNAs are.
Yeah, that's the tough ones.
All right, roll call, please.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg? Yes. Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
And Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Do we have to do 7, Shelley, or was that part of
No,
it?
that's, you have to do that.
Okay. On number 7, I recommend the Ohio mandated minimum wage increase from $10.7 to $11, so $10.70 to $11 per hour, effective 1/1/26 for student activity workers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
I mean, what happens if we all voted no?
I know, right?
Well,
I mean, it says mandated. I don't understand.
We go to jail, I guess.
I guess our symbolic vote in the
It's
public for
still,
what we're required to do.
we still need to pass it for, just because we are changing the rate of pay
Okay.
for an employee. I know it hasn't been always done like that, but it's been done in previous districts, and I think at both of our previous districts, again, you're changing the rate of pay for an employee. So, anything that has to do with pay? We
Gotta
like-
vote on it,
We like
yep.
to vote on it.
We like to vote on it.
Yes, you don't have a choice, but.
All right.
I appreciate the illusion.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
And Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Motion carries. Superintendent presentation.
now I have the pleasure to introduce 2 of our students for our Superintendent Student Advisory Committee. We have Riley Thompson and Julia Craig. They're going to come up and tell you some things that are happening around the district and what this district means to them. So, ladies, come on up.
Hi, I'm Julia. Is it Briley? We were told that we have to say what Geneva Area City Schools mean to us. So, Geneva Area City Schools, obviously voluntold. Geneva Area City Schools has been the foundation that has allowed me to prepare for my future. I am grateful that I have been able to attend school here because of the clubs that are offered that have great advisors who care about the students receiving the best experiences, my peers who push me to be the best version of myself, and the teachers who prepare me for what's to come. I'm also grateful to have a generous community surrounding the school district who wants to see every kid thrive, including my own village of my mom, dad, and brothers. They have allowed me to be unique in myself and pursue my aspirations with their guidance. So we're going to cover like everything that's happened since the last board meeting, which has been a lot with the holidays. So starting with Bloodmobile. Prior to Thanksgiving break, junior class officers were invited to the senior class meetings to prepare for the Bloodmobile at the beginning of December. Students collaborated to decide the decorations that would be displayed in the Ox Gym, sent out sign-up sheets for blood donors and food donations, and received assignments for who would be working at each station during the Bloodmobile. Student helpers walked donors through the registration process, accompanied donors as they were giving blood for support, created a menu with the available food options to serve donors, and checked on donors later in the day to make sure they were all right. A huge thank you also goes out to Mrs. Markajon, who spearheaded the day and checked on all students, whether donating or helping, to make sure they were feeling all right and staying energized. Overall, the Bloodmobile was successful and students had fun and enjoyed great homemade food. Next, we go to philanthropy, which has had a busy fall and winter season with organizing food and clothing drives. Excuse me. A few weeks before Thanksgiving, the club organized a cereal drive at GHS, asking students to bring cereal boxes to their first period class for a good cause. The food pantry was really in need of those, so that's why we chose cereal. At the end of the week, the club delivered the food to the pantry. While there, the club helped bag orders for families while restocking items that had run out during orders. This experience is helpful for philanthropy members because it puts a spotlight on how much food is really used by the Geneva Food Pantry and allows us to take into consideration how much money we will be giving to them at the end of the year. For the holiday season, philanthropy organized a winter clothing drive that asked for students to bring hats, mittens, or gloves, girls' leggings, boys' pants, snow pants, coats, and boots to their 5th period class. The drive ended today, and with a close race between Mrs. Markajon and Mrs. Hull's 5th period classes, Mrs. Markajon's class won, but graciously donated their Christmas party to Mrs. Hull's class, which is my 5th period class. Very grateful, Miss Markajon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The Christmas party will include hot chocolate cookies and a visit from Santa. I'm really excited. As for Interact Club, members prepared a service project for local first responders and nursing homes. The club decided to send cookies to the first responders and Christmas cards to the nursing homes. Members signed up to make cookies, and everyone helped to write Christmas cards. These donations were delivered on December 8th, and now the club is planning for their next service project. And also, thank you to Miss Ball, because she helped us organize all of that and made sure we got it all done. So. Next we have, this is new. Something new has come about this past couple weeks, and it is the GHS Spirit Shop. The shop is aimed to make low-cost Geneva merchandise that will be open to the public. The shop has t-shirts for sale right now, 2 of which have unique designs that were only sold in GHS previously. It's the Grape Jamboree ones, the purple ones, and then the neon ones from last year, I think. And then the Spirit Shop is run by students in Mrs. Blevin's PBIS class who make the shirts during their 6th period. All the proceeds will return to the PBIS account to fund pep assemblies and other productions put on for the student body that is run by the class. If you're interested to see the available designs as well as when the shop will be opening and its hours, check out geneva.spirit.shop1 on Instagram. And then the last thing for me, and then we'll go to Briley. The most recently, new NHS members were tapped in yesterday. If you're not familiar with this process, the National Honor Society invites students who qualify to an informational meeting during the fall to learn about the 4 pillars of NHS. After interested students go through the application process, which includes writing 2 essays, getting teacher recommendations, and listing all of the clubs, activities, and community service experiences they have been involved in, a committee begins to decide its new members. This committee is not run by students but by faculty. After the new members are decided, the current NHS members pick a theme to dress up for and make congratulatory cups for the new members. The theme for this year's tap-in was USA, and current members dressed up in red, white, and blue, as well as Eagle outfits or Founding Fathers outfits like Jovan and Claire did, blasted patriotic music, and paraded around the school to walk into new members' classrooms to give them their cupful of goodies and tap them in. This is a complete surprise for new members and a shock to everyone who witnesses the ordeal. New members join in on the parade and take pictures afterwards.
My name is Briley. I'm a sophomore, and what Geneva Schools means to me is it's basically a foundation of my life. I've been here my whole life, all 11 years of my schooling. I moved here when I was in kindergarten, and it's just been like a community of just learning, not only through academics but through life experiences. And I've had so many amazing educators and opportunities, and as well as that, my life is built basically on like the extracurricular activities I do. I apologize. I'm in band, I'm in basketball, I'm in track, and every adult I've gone through the process of coaching with and learning with has just been nothing but supportive. Not only the adults in this district, but the students too. It's just a learning environment, such a positive environment, you know. I hear all these stories from different schools, and I'm like, Geneva would never do that. I'm just honored to be such part of such an amazing community where we're all interlinked, we're all just willing to do whatever it takes for our community. And that's what Geneva means to me. So I want to talk about the start of winter sports. As I said, I'm in basketball. And I know boys and girls have had such a dominant start to our season. We've been working since, I say, October. We haven't skipped a single day besides Sundays. But I know the boys have been working really hard, and our wins outlaw the losses, you know. And not only this, but we're getting more involved in the community, like winter sports. I know we were talking about it in some of our meetings with the superintendent. We're planning to get like community events where winter sports teams can like help out the community, like cook breakfast or things like that. You know, not just basketball too. It's wrestling, swim, indoor track. We're trying to get our sports more involved in the communities. So maybe that will come back to us. And like this has already happened. The girls basketball team and the boys basketball team both have lended out hands to the big leaf tournaments, which are just youth tournaments for basketball. You know, we've had boys and girls volunteer, help out, run clocks, stuff like that. It was actually very fun. It was a good experience, a good way to get connected with the youth. And of course, on the youth subject, we had amazing, successful basketball camps over the summer. And it's just an amazing way to get connected with your community, you know, meet the parents of the future athletes, you know, to have them have somebody to look up to. It's overall an amazing experience. And I know I talk about basketball a lot, but wrestling has also had an amazing start to their season. They recently participated in the Riverside Rumble and placed 5th out of 25 teams, which was great. Their next match is at let me slow down. Their next match is at Pymatuning Valley. They're participating in the Laker Shaker. If anybody wants to go to that, it's gonna be fun. Swim team's doing amazing. They recently had, it was the Edgewood Invitational, was it? Warrior Invitational. Girls placed 7th out of 19 teams, and boys placed 9th out of 14 teams. There were so many PRs set, so all these teams are working really hard to set their goals and stuff for the season. It's just a really dominant season for all sports involved. And last but not least is indoor track, and although they haven't had their first meet yet, they've been working consistently. Coach has been pushing their players, and it's just looking bright for their future. So that's winter sports. I'm going to talk about band and choir. Band had its first winter concert on Monday. It was a great success. It was Emily Valle's first concert at Geneva, and it was just overall an amazing atmosphere. Everybody in the audience was pretty impressed with how hard they've been working, how hard Emily's been pushing them. And everybody on stage thought they did a pretty good job. It was great. It was absolutely wonderful showcase. I believe choir's winter concert was last Thursday. I could be wrong about that.
No, you're right.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not really good with my dates. It was also an incredible atmosphere. The audience was engaged. GI's had their showcase, although they've performed a few times before, but it was absolutely wonderful. And as you saw before, they're just doing great. So.
If I could add for GIs, they're coming to our party tomorrow.
Well, they are.
Yeah, they'll be giving us a performance.
Missed out, Mrs. Markadon. I'm sorry. Yes, but the choir program and band program are going great. They've had wonderful showcases, and it's just spring's gonna be great. You know, yeah. So, last thing I want to talk about is the elementary visits that we've had. So, I don't know how much people might know about this. It was a subject brought up in Dr. Lombardo's student committee, where we basically had the people in the committee choose an elementary school to go to, and we went out to help with Santa Shop. And that was a great way to get engaged with the community, get engaged with the youth, engage with our elementary school teachers, lend a helping hand to the parents, because everybody knows they need one. And just, it was a great way to get connected. Like, all the kids were excited to see. I went to the one last week. Last week was GPS, and it was just fun to help out the students, and they were all excited to see the big, bad high schoolers at their school helping out. Yes, GPS is where I went. So everybody kind of went to where they used to go, which was awesome, seeing all the old teachers, you know, reconnecting with them. Yeah. Not old, but previous teachers. My apologies.
Really getting up there.
Seeing previous teachers, you know, connecting with them, lending a helping hand where they need it. And it was just a nice way to get high schoolers involved with the youth of the community. And with the various parents that were there, it was nice to lend them a helping hand. It was just a nice place to be. I know this week is Austenberg's Santa Shop, so we have a few high schoolers going there, and it's going pretty good. I haven't heard any complaints about help, so I'm pretty sure all of our high schoolers are doing great help, you know, not to brag or anything. I think I did pretty good. But yeah, it was a great week when we went, and I'm pretty sure Austenberg is going great. All the kids are excited to see the high schoolers. The high schoolers are excited to see the kids and their previous teachers and parents. It's just, I think Cork is coming up in the near future.
I think Cork already had.
They had theirs last week.
Oh, theirs was last week?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, GPS was 2 weeks ago. I'm a little lost.
And I think Cork's was, one of them was a snow day.
Cork, yeah, their first
Oh,
day
yeah,
was
you're
a
right,
snow day.
you're right. So this week is Austenberg. My apologies.
Catastrophic.
So yeah.
Catastrophic when Santa Shop on a snow day. I mean, it is crippling when you're an elementary.
You can add something, go ahead.
Yeah, say something funny.
From the superintendent.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, add a funny story.
From Sarah and Claire.
Oh, boy.
There was.
Get up to the mic, get up to the mic.
Okay. Miss Cybulski, I'm sure Sarah told you, so you might have to rehash what happened to the audience here. I know Claire had a kid she was helping, because you go there and you help the kids shop for what they need. So the one kid, Sarah had a budgeter who she budgeted accordingly. She had like $20 left over. She was all gifts bought for her family, bought an extra gift for her family, still had money left over. She's like, can I buy myself a present? She was like, yeah. Claire,
My kid did that. Bought himself something with the.
Claire had, speaking of buying yourself something, the kid Claire had only wanted to buy himself things. I guess he picked up a bottle opener, and Claire was like, well, that might be a good gift for an adult in your life. And he was like, well, would it be a good gift for me? And she's like, no. And he's like, oh, I don't want it. So those are just some of the funny stories. And then one more thing I would like to add. It kind of relates to all of this and kind of relates to previous conversation, but I feel motivated to add it. The Superintendent Advisory Board highlights all the things that the student body does here at Geneva, and I know everyone here in this room probably supports the stadium build, but I feel like all of this outlines why we need a stadium and why the kids here deserve it. And you get a rehash every month of everything that the students do, everything that the teachers do, everything that everyone contributes to, and I think this is a great reason why we need a stadium and why we deserve a stadium. And I know everyone here probably supports it, but if maybe there's people watching at home, maybe they can take that into consideration. Yeah.
Thanks, ladies.
Extremely well done. Good job, ladies. All right. All right. You leaving? All right. We'll see you later. All right. So we're going to move on to the holiday clothing drive. I want you to take note that this was a huge, huge success. We had two $1,000 donations. The Beverage Depot did donate $1,000, and I thank them so very much. As well as we had an anonymous donation, but you can see all the clothing and hats and gloves and hoods. And I took a picture. That's our Superintendent Advisory and Philanthropy in the upper right-hand corner. Those are all the bags from the high school. It just was amazing, the love and everyone that contributed to helping kids. It was just overwhelming, all the nice things. So I thank everyone for doing that. It was an idea that Brittany Savage had in an email, and then all of a sudden, everyone took note of it, and it's a great opportunity. So thank you, everyone, for that. I want to talk about some grants, and I want Dr. Brisky to come up here. We have received 3 grants. I know Dr. Brisky did write 2, and I know Jen Chabi's writing like 100 of them. No, but you're writing all the time grants, and I appreciate you doing that. The first grant is our Martha Holden Jennings grant, $5,000. This is a grant that I put together, and Ms. Chabi helped me, for staff and appreciation luncheon. So we have $5,000. All of that has to go to the staff. You're going to get a little treat tomorrow, staff, and then as we go through the year, staff appreciation, we're going to have luncheons. We're going to have all kinds of fun stuff. We have over $5,000, and it can only be used for staff. So you're going to get that. So I'm so proud of that one. And then come on up, Dr. Brisky, talk about the other 2.
Okay, thank you. So the Job Coach Skills Trainer Grant, so that's exciting because we were funded through the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce to train up to 10 of our SNAs to become job coaches. And so their work will be to go on job sites with students in the future, to support them in their work tasks throughout the buildings. But this will be targeted for our students with disabilities to bring them out into the community, but to have that support with them so that as we start to think about what comes next after graduation, how we're preparing them for the workforce. That's really exciting. And then the second one is the PREETS Provider Grant. So that will be used to train up to 6 intervention specialists at the secondary level. Currently, Ashtabula County does not have any pre-employment transition service providers in the entire county. It does not exist. So Geneva High School is going to be the first one. We're gonna provide them here. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good work.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Brisky. And as grants come in, because I am anticipating more grants come in, we'll bring them to you. But there's 3, and I'm really proud of that. All right. Well, each board meeting coming forward, we're going to be having a one of our building principals are going to come up. They're going to talk about what's going on at the school. But I asked them to align it to their building action plans. They're going to show data, and they're going to show where they are with student achievement. So our first one is the high school. So, Mr. King, if you want to come on up and go through your PowerPoint.
The girls did an amazing job sharing, and I promise we actually do try to teach them something in between everything else. All right, so every year I've been an administrator, my PGP, my professional growth plan, has always had some tie to the weakest test score of the building that I've been a part of. In this past year, it was math. We took a hit in geometry. We thought we might experience a little bit of that because we were trying to realign and give some extra support to algebra. Geometry, on the state report card, geometry is reported, but algebra counts. And then we're going to talk about TBTs and then student attendance. So for our scores, you can take a quick look. You can see what I mean, and I put my own arrow there already. Whoop, what did I just do on that one? I apologize for that. Go ahead, I'll go. Okay, I thought I was going to get a red spotlight, apparently not. Okay, sorry about that. So taking a look at geometry, you know, we were doing fairly well, 54, 52, 66, and then last year was kind of almost a cliff dive down to 39.5. And again, we did make some changes to try to resupport algebra. We corrected some of those changes, and we'll talk about that in just a quick minute. Algebra, 55, 68, 61, 68. You can see the progression that the high school is able to do from 8th grade into the high school. You know, if you follow the colored blocks, we do fairly well. So, what are we doing to correct what happened in geometry and further push algebra? If you take a look, first thing we did I know this is kind of boring, but I apologize. The spring EOCs are already done. Those kids are already out of those classes. So basically, you're taking a post-mortem look. You're looking at a dead body because it's already done. You can't revive it. You can't go back to it. But you can still learn what happened. So we went back through and tried to take the best look that we could from the EOC, and of course, tests, and of course, exams. Our algebra showed 30% growth from 8th grade and 7.5% growth from the 23-24 scores, but the geometry, as we noted, suffered a pretty large decrease. Over the summer, right when we got those scores, we did do some staffing adjustments, rotating classes, things of that nature. We had brought on MAP testing. So again, we did some MAP testing when the students returned. We did our first exam schedule so that we could get MAP testing in one class. Previously, that wasn't allowed. We appreciate the allowance from Ms. Chaubey and Dr. Lombardo. You know, kids were having to take this test over multiple days, and that's never a good idea. So we appreciate that ability. So we have that data. We've gone through that door. We've taken a look at the strands that they did the best on, strands that they did the worst on, and we also took a look at the future passage possibilities. Algebra 1, the passage predictor, is 59%. We're going to work on that to get it up even higher. You're going to see that geometry says 2%. That is straight geometry. It's not honors or anything like that. It's just the regular geometry class. And that is because our students aren't taught any geometry until geometry. Algebra, you get some algebra in 5th grade. You get some algebra in 6th grade. You get some algebra in 7th grade. You get some algebra in 8th grade. Geometry, you get a very small taste of it in 5th grade. 5th grade, I don't know. I've been a principal of a 5th grade building. 5th grade math, God bless 5th grade math teachers. That is the hardest year ever. There are so many different strands that are put into 5th grade. It's nuts. So geometry, regular geometry, was 2%. But then if you take a look at our honors geometry classes, 62% already, and they haven't even been taught anything. 62% out the gate. Why? Because our advanced algebra classes, post end of course exam, well, let's get a running start. Let's get some of those geometry pieces and parts moving. So again, that's what the difference there is. We have also been identifying students who need extra support. Again, they can get that within the classroom setting itself. We do offer, I believe, it's 5 different periods where our students can get mathematics support. Either the teacher is monitoring a study hall, or they have a duty period where they are able to work with students before and after school. A lot of our students will take, usually before they get off the bus, a few minutes with the teacher, try to get some help. And at lunchtime, Mr. Cripple is always pulling students aside and working with them. So we do have different opportunities before, after the school day, and during our blended time, which is after school as well. IXL implementation. So we're weaving 3 different things together: Restart Readiness, IXL, and MAP. The data we get from our MAP testing can weave into IXL, and we can take that, the base scores, the base metrics, plug it into IXL, and then the students can get that assistance on top of what the teacher is giving them. IXL will plan out a pathway for them to learn some things on their own with the assistance of the computer program. It's incredibly helpful. As it states here, personalized learning path, everybody's different. If you put me in algebra class, good luck. I couldn't find my ex if she was standing in front of me. No, just kidding, bad joke. Everybody's different in algebra, and that's why IXL is so very helpful, because everybody has the opportunity to go at their own pace with what they need to learn. Practice and mastery, we're going to take a look here in just a second at some data of practice versus mastery. You can learn it until you know it. You know, even LeBron goes and shoots baskets every single day. Why? Because he doesn't make it all the time. He has to continue to shoot, stay sharp, and get better. Real-time feedback, the turnaround is immediate. It also lets students know, hey, this is what you need to be working on, and this is what you need to be able to do and go forward. Why did you make that mistake? Is it a reoccurring mistake? And then the progress tracking. Teachers, parents can see the analytics. Building administrators, we can see the whole building. We can see by teacher. We can see by student. Oh, and that's not me, thank goodness. All right, so we have our staff are trained, and some of our folks are using it, and we are aggressively going to be working with them to get it being used district-wide in January. So far this year, 434 hours have been logged, 1,530 skills were practiced, 1,226 skills were completed with proficiency, meaning they understand it. They understand it and they can do it. When they say the skills were mastered, the problems were rearranged, you know, in a way that for some of us feel like, oh no, that's a completely different problem. No, no, no. The X was just put in a different place. It's still the same problem, but you have to tackle it from a different perspective. So 483 skills mastered, pretty good. And again, in January, IXL will go full bore. So we will be doing some MAP winter testing coming up in January. So we'll be able to take a look at winter data, plug that in, and again, be able to use that with IXL, also Restart Readiness. We have teacher-based teams that we're going to talk about here in just a quick minute. And we're also going to be rolling out a spring EOC boot camp to help our students. We're going to offer it to any student or any family that wants their student to get some extra support in preparation for the end of course test. We will be doing some exceptional outreach to those students that we know would benefit. So yes, anybody can come. We will help anyone who makes it in. But those students that we see have some specific struggles or a multitude of struggles. We're going to target them specifically to try to get them in and give them the help they need to be very important to be successful. So we're going to be focusing on parent engagement. Here's what the opportunity is, the correlation with their future. Every child has a why. Well, let's help you get there. Let's help you understand why these scores are important, snacks and ride shares. The TBTs that we are talking about, Dr. Lombardo and Ms. Chabi have been incredibly helpful working with GATA to put LOU together, which will probably be coming, I believe, next month. Yep. Very excited. Anybody who's heard me talk, my first day when I talked to the staff when I got here 3 years ago was about TBTs, and they said, okay, well, you have 10 minutes. High school TBT time was 10 minutes. By the time, hey, you got a nice sweater on. What'd you have for lunch? Didn't I see you talk to that kid? You're down to about 3.5 minutes. 10 minutes was never enough. So we're very excited about the possibility to get a good chunk of time where our departments can get together. They can go through strand data. They can go through test data. They could go through end of course data. They can go through exit ticket data. Okay, why did your kids get number 7 correct 57% of the time, and my kids got it correct 97% of the time? How can I help you with what happened? Or geography in my class, my kids are running about 80%. In your class, they seem to be running about 40%. How can we share ideas and knowledge? TBTs are incredibly, incredibly helpful, especially at the high school level, because most of our high school teachers are singletons, meaning they're the only one who teaches it. So when they're looking at the tests, oh my gosh, I just can't believe this happened. An outside perspective can be incredibly helpful. Go through the data and see what you're able to figure out. All right, absenteeism. Absenteeism has ballooned across Ohio since COVID, and I know nobody likes to say COVID, but it wasn't great before, but COVID made it a lot worse. GHS, our chronic absenteeism is higher than the state average. As you can see there, from 43 to 38. Currently, as of last month, 38. And a lot of what we're talking about is coming into play the second 9 weeks, and we're building on it from there. All students matter. We're trying to do everything we can, and the girls said it best. We are trying to make Geneva High School the place that kids want to be at. Not that they have to go to. Not, oh God, do I have to go there? That place, those people, bleh. No. We do every day. We work incredibly hard to give them a reason to want to be a part of Geneva High School. Whether it's our classes, the classes they want to take, the classes that are beneficial for their future, the clubs that they want to be a part of, the teams that they're a part of, those relationships that they build. Because if it was just about academics, how many of those kids would show up? Not a whole lot. But those other pieces and parts matter. So we're wrapping it all together so that we can help support our students to want to be a part of our environment and to reduce absences. So how do we do that? Communicate our messaging, positive school climate focus. I think we do a very good job at that. But again, even if you're doing something well, you can still do better. So we're continuing to focus on the pieces that we can build better. Monitoring and supporting daily attendance, ongoing professional development, and part of this is, I was about to blank, Handle with Care initiative. We had talked about this and worked with it some time ago, but now it's finally in place. Again, caring for the whole child. Our teachers are more and more trained on what to look out for if a student is eating properly, if there's signs of emotional trauma. How can we support and how can we make this a good and safe place for them to come? Weekly support meetings that include administration, teachers, support staff, counselors, resource officer, and family liaison, because it just can't be teachers and it just can't be counselors. One of my favorite people when I went to high school was our custodian. Every child has that one person that they can relate to, reach out to. So that's why we have a pretty large group for our student support meetings. All right. Our student support group, we go through all the possible needs of a child. If something is disrupting their education, if something is disrupting their attendance, what is it? And what's the root cause of it? How can we help? How can we assist? And if we realize coming together we can't do it, okay, who do we know that can help? What resources can we get to? Who can we call on? We have specifically worked on 57 cases were discussed, take action, actions such as, and there's much more than just this, but schedule changes, transition to online, in-person, blended, discipline intervention, testing, do they have a need that's been undiagnosed, counselor administrator conference with a student and or their family, home visits, outside counseling, and a lot of the clothing donations that you guys were incredibly generous with go to Rachel's Closet. We have an incredibly supportive community. Rachel's Closet gets donations probably every other day. I will tell you, it is incredibly well used. A lot of it comes in and goes out real quick. Rachel's Closet is a lifeline for our families, whether it's food, whether it's clothing, toothpaste, etc. It's being used, and it's being used well. And again, that is helping our students want to be here because they are clothed, they are fed, they have a sense of self-esteem. So it's all intertwined in to help our students to want to be here and part of our Eagle family. So like I was talking about initiatives and incentives, we are starting some drawings, and we are starting some donut breakfasts to encourage good attendance. And I know all that COVID stuff. Oh, you're sniffling, you coughed, stay home for 2 weeks. Okay, it's Ohio. I cough all the time. We sneeze all the time. Life happens. We're past that. We need you here. We want you here. So again, we are doing quarterly breakfast. I'm going to congratulate Mr. Chenoweth. He worked incredibly hard on putting most of this part together. He has taken it and run with it. Christina Church has been amazing as our attendance liaison. We were able to snag some Cavs tickets. This is going to be our kickoff for our attendance drive. One lucky winner on Friday, unless we have a snow day, will be winning 4 Cavs tickets because of their attendance. Big fans of snow days. Early break. Did I say that? So again, there will be many drawings, but we wanted the impact to be with the Cavs tickets. All right. So targeted supports, we have 17 students that we have had land in this support area. Some of this triggers our attendance liaison. She works with students well before this. Our counselors work with students well before this. Myself and Mr. Chenoweth, our teachers. Teachers will email. Something tells me Miss Markajon, because I just know the person she is, our teachers will email, hey, haven't seen you in a couple days. Everything good? We miss you. It's throughout the building. How can we help? What can we do to make it better? But again, some of this is state lingo. Some of it is on top of the state. Ms. Church goes above and beyond. She will give a lot of time, energy, and effort even before students hit this requirement. Absence intervention plan. We have put together 17 of these plans so far. Unfortunately, there is a number included in there that's a continuation from last year, meaning they were already on a plan last year, and of course you get a clean slate when you walk in the door in August. Some of them, boom, we're right back on it within just a quick amount of time. We're trying to, through our student support group, we're trying to figure out the reasons why. so that we can get them back because we need them here. We want them to be a part of our Eagle family. Pathway reports, and then youth opportunities. Youth opportunities is incredibly helpful, but that is one of those programs where the family needs to be willing to engage. And we try to share loud and proud how awesome Yo is. Again, the incentives, we have some guidelines, but again, drawings for improvement, drawings to help students with whatever they might need. And we're also working on possibly some drawings for families. Maybe there's a gasoline issue, transportation issue that we can figure out and be able to help with. The second tier of this is intensive supports, meaning when they're non-compliant. We have put something out, we have gone to the court, we have said, this needs to happen. The magistrate has said, this needs to happen. Unfortunately, it's only December, and we're at 13, but again, we haven't given up. A lot of our home visits go between targeted and intensive support students, but again, we want to figure out, we want to be able to help. The more information we can get, and we're not prying, we're offering assistance. So we have mild improvement at 38. Our goal is 36. We are hoping with our continued work with some of the incentive programs, and we are open to any ideas folks have. So if you got great ideas on attendance, feel free to share them in. I think it's a great place. I show up every day. Who wouldn't? You heard what these guys get to do. Good gravy. Briley was talking about the girls' basketball team. They're amazing. I don't know if you guys have gotten to see them. They're fantastic. My neighbor at home is the head coach for Akron U women's team. So guess who's taking the girls' basketball team to go watch Akron U on New Year's Eve? They're just such great kids. Oh, they're fantastic. Any questions about algebra, geometry, TBTs, attendance?
I have a quick question about attendance.
Yes.
Can we break that down? Are we seeing most of the attendance issues with students who have socioeconomic issues, or is it even across the board? Do we have data on who's missing school?
I can get that for you.
Okay.
Traditionally, yes.
Okay.
Do I want to talk about this year? I couldn't tell you this year
Right.
specific, but there is a tradition of yes, unfortunately.
Okay, that's because
But
I think we can go at it different ways based
Yes.
on who's missing school.
Correct, and we do attack it different ways as well because, we come to find out Joey's missing school because Dad hurt his leg. Joey's got to get a job. There's a rent payment that's coming up. Okay, how can we get Joey into blended? How can we get Joey into online? How can we get support services involved and assist? So we do our best to take that in consideration, and that's why we're considering gas cards and things of that nature for the family to see if there's ways that we can assist.
The incentives are going to look different based on the need.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've shared my problem with these guys. I'm trying to make it sound as polite
Right.
as possible because I don't want to say, here, we think you need this.
Right.
We just want to help. That's it. That's all I ever want to do for these kids is help. That's it.
So we're here for.
So, anyways, enough of me.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Thanks,
guys.
For
Michael.
all your hard work.
No, it's mindful. Thank you.
All right. It's time.
Okay. Ready? Ready. I need a motion and a second to approve the treasurer's financial report for the month of November.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, so in front of you, you did receive the financial report for November. Pretty much the same as we're going forward through the previous months. I'm going to keep it kind of short because the next few months, next meeting, we have the budget hearing. The following meeting, forecast was moved to February, so you will have a nice presentation in February, the next 2 months. But again, going kind of where we've been on the forecast, you can see revenue is just trending about 35,000 higher than we thought. Expenditures are a little bit less, 270,000. So we are within 1% at the current time of our forecast that was filed. So, our projections of where the increases are, obviously, salaries and benefits like we thought with the CBA agreements of the negotiated increases are there. Looking overall, where our revenues are, our state revenue is down a little bit, whereas our local tax reimbursement's up a little bit. So again, ebbs and flows of when things come in, timing of different things, and as different expenditures come up. Last year we might have had higher in textbooks at this time as compared to this year because obviously, we buy things on rotation here. Other than that, I just thought a fun fact on how state funding works. We are getting a state, I kind of told you about state foundation payments. This is what we get from the state. We get it in twice a month. I was kind of looking at the foundation payment that we're receiving tomorrow, and I'm getting it ready to put it in the system, and I was like, state took away almost $11,000 that they gave us last year on the science of reading stipend. So this was an initiative through the state. All teachers were required to take the science of reading. Certain teachers was more intensive if they taught, I think, elementary school teachers, and then English teachers at a higher level had a more intensive than every other. If you were a math teacher, yours was less. They were required by the state to take this, and we were required to pay them, and they reimbursed us. So the higher tiers was a $1,200 reimbursement, and the lower tiers was a $400 reimbursement. So we found out, again, because they took it from us, that they over-appropriated, they did not appropriate enough for this initiative. So they now took about 7.5% back of everything they gave us. So again, they took back about $10,308.68. And because it's the state, they just withheld it from what they were owed us for the month. So it's just, again, as we talk about state governments, how our funding does work. Lincoln and I, there goes $11,000 that I was not aware of yesterday that,
Well, they go around and audit colleges that aren't compliant with state or science of reading program.
Correct.
That are issuing teachers.
So just a fun fact on,
licensure.
How every day changes. We are still waiting for updates on the budget bill and how all the different House bills are going through. Hopefully we have a better place where we're going to be when I do the forecast in February. But right now, again, the forecast will be forecasted on what we know today and not what may come. So, and that will also be for the budget that will get passed at the organizational meeting next month. Any other questions? Okay, Mrs. Milliken-Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
And Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Okay, we also have just a description of the grants that we have received this month. The only one we did not talk about was the 2,500 OSLN STEM classroom grant that was sought out by Mr. Shmansky's. It is for the EagleWorks Prototyping Studio project. I worked with him this past week. He came in, and we were also working with Mr. King. So it was $2,500. It was great because when he applied for this grant for these printers, 3D printers, the price was a little bit higher. He thought he was going to be able to get 3 printers. We were able to get 4 printers.
Oh, that's cool.
So we will have 4 3D printers, and then, we have worked with a little bit extra using current funds to buy the filaments. So that'll cost the district about $500 for the startup of the filaments of these printers. So kudos to Mr. Shmansky for putting this on and getting this money, and we will get that requisition. It's in my queue. Just waiting for my coding after we kind of talked about this grant, and we will get that ordered before break. So that would be a wonderful addition to the high school there. Perfect. The next thing, the treasurer recommends the board approval of the attached disposal list of assets as they are no longer of any use. Some items will be traded or sold at public auction using public surplus website. I need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Do you have any questions? I know the list was attached. You know, things, printers, computers, monitors. We do have a ice machine back from 2014 that will be scrapped. We do have a 2010 minivan that I don't think even runs anymore that's being sent to auction, so that's not going to take much fun, but it.
Can we really sell the 1996 printers?
Around here?
We can, you know, we don't get much, but we can put them on the auction block, and you know, $5 is better than no dollars, right? I mean, if we don't need them and they're obsolete to our functions, then.
That'll paint one line on the new stadium field.
Park it down by the river.
So, any other questions?
One for me.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
And Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
All right. Legislative report, please, Mr. Pierson.
Awesome. I'm going to go up the OSBA facts in a flash blog. I'm going to start giving these ahead of time to everyone so they have a link, and I'll provide them as well. I'm only going to go with what's on DeWine's desk because, like you said, there's budget bills. There's about 10 of them. I'm just going to read the synopsis, and we can go over, if they pass, essentially what the impact looks like. So first, we probably have seen a few people were looking at the Senate Bill 50. It's going to change 14 and 15-year-olds' ability to work later. That got vetoed. They have until December 31st to vote for an override of next year, so it's like a year and a month, essentially. Doesn't look like that's going to have any traction. But these following bills, these House bills, are on DeWine's desk right now. So the first one is HB 10. It's going to be from Popstein and Daniels, and this requires public school boards and the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce to adopt policies prohibiting the purchase of cultivated protein food or lab-grown meat, and make sure they don't misbrand meat or egg products. HB 114 by Adam Bird and Kevin Ritter would alter age requirements for kindergarten admission and hold harmless students affected by scoring error on the biology end of course assessments during the 2024-2025 school years. HB 124, sponsored by our very own David Thomas and Thomas Hall from Madison Township, would modify the process for property tax sales assessment ratio studies. We are following HB 124. It will inevitably impact our district. House Bill 129, sponsored by our very own Thomas, would include certain property tax levies in the calculation of a school district's effective millage floor. You heard 20 mil floor. That will offset based on certain tax levies which have been passed and included in that 20 mil floor. House Bill 184, sponsored by Brian Stewart and Ty Matthews, makes corrections to previous capital and main operating budget allocations. House Bill 186 by James Hoops and Thomas would cap tax growth for districts on the 20 mil floor to inflation through a retroactive tax credit and provide funds to reimburse school districts for some losses in 2026 and 2027. And that's the one that we've been following, House Bill 186. We've talked about a few times. First, it took $7 million away, and then it brought all the $7 million back, and now it's going to basically what they're doing is it gets rid of a pretty large amount of money, but they do so in 6 years. That way you guys don't get to see it on the 5-year forecast, which is a really clever trick.
It's about $500,000 for the next few years that it'll be reduced. It's about $1.4 million.
Right, which is about half the damage, well, a little less than half the damage we were looking at initially.
It's a lot less.
So they are doing minimization, but if you can, write to your senators and your state representatives about this tax reform stuff. I can't think of one person who has asked for this on either side of any political party for any motivation other than if you own an immense amount of property tax and or are already receiving an abatement, you would benefit for this, and you'd have to make well over $500,000 of personal income, not business is worth that, or your assets are worth that, or your property's worth that. They actually have like soluble moving income along with a property that's there and not for non-commercial purpose. So that's going to really hit a lot of people hard. That's going to hit Ashtabula County really hard in general. So Geneva's in a pretty good position, but I don't know how people like PV and other districts are going to handle that. House Bill 309 by David Thomas would allow budget commissioners to reduce millage on certain voter-approved tax levies, excluding debt levies if they find it necessary or prudent to do so. And House Bill 335 by Thomas would cap the inflationary growth on all inside millage beginning in tax year 2026. So basically what we have is a few of our representatives ran on completely eliminating property tax, and later found out that that's impossible, and they're doing everything in their power right now to backtrack from actually eliminating property tax. But unfortunately, there's a pretty good movement going on right now that'll probably bring it to a vote. And now people are scrambling to try to give as many incentives to lower that tax as possible so they can all raise their hands and go, look, we can't really get rid of it, but this is the best we can do, which is why you'll see Plecknick from Lake County and David Thomas. I believe even Sarah Arthur Fowler has begun pushing the brakes on, hey guys, let's not eliminate our property taxes. Let's blame the schools and a few other public entities and get this to a reasonable level. And now that finger pointing is going to be a really contentious point in the upcoming runoff election. So we'll keep a pulse on 186, which is probably the most influential. But other than that, I don't see any of the others having too much of an impact on us. Does that sound good? That's my report.
Yes. Outstanding.
House Bill 129 that has certain levies that will go towards the floor. We actually don't have any of those types of levies.
Okay,
in
perfect.
Geneva. So on a good note, that will not affect us.
All right, perfect. So yeah, so 180, 129, 184, and 186 are the ones I'm watching. We'll just keep an eye on 184 and 186.
And the 1.4 million that you said, that's for which bill?
That is on 186.
Yep.
That's 186.
And there are still the ability for the governor to propose changes and/or veto. We have 7 days, I think, until next Sunday. So a few more, like 10 days, until he has to make a decision on that. But he can also send it back to the Senate and say, hey, these are my proposals, or I'll veto. I don't see that happening, but he has the ability to do that.
And your calculation is how many years for the 1.4?
For us, it's just over, it's through the 5 years, but the biggest will be going into fiscal 26, sorry, 27, 28.
Okay.
So it'll start next year, right away. And then if they do cap the reappraisals, that'll start 27 also.
That'll be 27, right?
Correct. Second half of so beginning calendar year 27, so it's half of our, right?
Half,
Because-
okay, that's what I was
Because
talking
they
about.
do taxes on the calendar
Calendar
year,
year,
we
and
do
we're
the
talking
fiscal
about
year.
this, okay, that's what I
We
was.
go July to
All right.
June, so.
Okay, yes, I understand, got it. Okay.
Every day is
I know,
is a
that's
lovely
when
day
we're
in
like.
the world of school
I
finance.
know, like, is it a calendar year or academic year or finance year? Okay, ATAC.
Okay, so
Mrs.
we
Ortiz.
had our regular board meeting on Monday. The holiday dinner was a success this year. There were 284 tickets sold, which is, last year was only 150, but the weather did help. So it was bad weather last year, but it wasn't as bad of weather this year. So, and they went back to the traditional ham, turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, green beans, cranberry sauce, dinner roll, and dessert and drinks. So that was good to hear. They held a canned food drive, and it wasn't finished yet, but there were over 7,000 cans, or the equivalent of, that will be distributed to families in need. So that's exciting. And then just something to note, they're working on looking at the Lake to River district and how our career tech impacts the kids in Ashtabula County. And it's over, so K through 12 student population of different career-focused services to all the school districts in the county. ATEC, it's calculated to have reached 11,753 students from K to 12 population in some way, shape, or form. 753. So that's kind of exciting.
Awesome. Is that through all their programming that they do?
Yes,
Sure,
all,
yeah.
all programming, K through 12,
Mhm.
not necessarily in a building, but like
Right.
the extracurriculars and everything that Stacy Zappitelli coordinates.
Yeah.
And
Denise Brown.
yes.
Mhm. Not Brown. Smith. I can't remember. Denise.
I don't, I'm sorry.
Smith. Brown. I don't know.
All right.
Denise.
Board member reports?
Just to touch quickly, yesterday we had a quick meeting on AI. A few people, I met with Paul, Christy Burns,
Jared, Jen?
yeah, and I'm blanking on names.
Jared and Jen.
Jared and Jen. So Mr. Chubby and Jared
Forgot.
Forgard. I have aphasia, so you can make fun of me for that. I always forget names, even like my best friend. But I talked to Mr. Bergard, and I was pretty impressed. We have some pretty robust security options right now, so if someone is talking or leaning on AI, let's say for emotional help, academic help, maybe things that are crossing some barriers or parental controls, we actually have the ability to, most of the time, get out in front of it. Our conversation was poised on maybe making a unified or potentially one solution that the school has that, one, doesn't train AI models, and two, we can implement across the board to keep eyes on. That's an evolving discussion, and once we have that hammered out, I'll bring it to the board so everyone can take a look at it. But just wanted to let everyone know that we're starting that conversation.
Awesome. It's a good conversation. The only thing I have is I just want to say thank you to Marty and Jamie
Yes.
for their service on the board. You will certainly be missed. You gave me a vote of confidence in March of 2024 when you appointed me to this job, and I thank you for that and appreciate your service.
I want to say thank you. That's the only really thing I want to say. I passed out thank you cards, and here's why, empty blank ones. I started to make a list of all the people I needed to thank, and the list got so long that I'd be writing those the rest of my life, I think. So what I'd like you to do is pay it forward and write a thank you note to somebody else. That's why I provided those tonight, and I've just really loved it here and loved this board, and so I just want to say thanks.
Thank you.
I wanted to take a minute to thank Jamie for her time on the board. She's been on our board for 8 years. I'm sure that probably felt like dog years at times. I mean, I'll cut right through it. And Marty has been on the board for 4 years. Thank you both for your time, your service, your dedication, your hours that you put in. I haven't been here as long as both of you, and I know the time and just the mental equity that you put into something like this is taxing, and I certainly am not into the calendar time that you guys have put into it, and I know where I am at mentally with that at this point, but we wanted to give you a little something to thank you, so thank you.
Don't take mine.
Thank you both very much. We wish you well, and thank you for your time and your service, and you will be missed, and don't be strangers. I know that you will miss these Wednesday nights in this room, so please come and join us in a seat. But thank you so very much.
With that, actually, I want to highlight something before these two go. We've had a rough past few years, and I want to commend Jamie Ortiz for when the whole library thing was going on and everyone was cutting friction and picking a side. You prophetically were like, well, look, the people don't want this. What are we going to do to solve this? And ended up fixing that problem at way less of a contentious point to the people of the community, the people that we worked alongside, everyone. And you were the only person that took that problem on. I remember that very vividly. And the second is, I'd also like to thank Marti for at times speaking up against people to the point of even being censured by your peers. And that's kind of what you get with Marti. She's not gonna go blindly into being corralled into being told by someone else what to believe or what to think or what to stand for. She just did it. And those are two moments where I stood back and really appreciated both of you. And thank you very much for your service to this district.
Thanks.
I did receive, I will mention this, I did receive some letters from students from the middle school. I'm assuming they were part of a class and an assignment. They were really interesting. I know everybody wants to go home, but I wanted to share because the kids took the time to write. But the teacher in me kind of looked at the body of the letter, and I'm assuming it was like a 5-paragraph letter, like looking at. So I had one that was about the condition of the gym floors. I had another that was about having holidays off. And the ones that they wanted to add to this were, I do agree with Veterans Day, but Halloween and Valentine's is also one that they would like to add. The other one that I was about bullying, which I feel very strongly about as well. I'm going to write back to them, but I wanted to share it this evening. Another was about the sports stadium, near and dear to my heart. And then another was about the Smart Pass that they use at the middle school. So apparently this is a hot button topic. This must have came to be after Julia left the middle school. I don't think they used Smart Pass when she was there. Is this like the electronic pass that they use to go to the restroom? So I have to share this story because I had opened these up and they were on the kitchen table, and I just kind of had all my board stuff like spread out, and this one was on top, and so Julia had read it. So I'm not going to say the student that wrote this, but this was, Julia like laughed out loud. Hello, I'm an 8th grade student that attends Geneva Middle School. I'm writing about the Smart Pass issue. I think the Smart Passes are an issue, especially for women. The reason I think it's an issue is because we only get 3 minutes to use the restroom. You can go overtime, but you will be told to come back on time. Goes into the reasons why women need more time in the restroom. This was the highlight of this letter. Men don't even wash their hands. Julia's like, oh my. And Jerry goes, yeah, we do. And then she goes on again and she goes, I'm telling you, men don't wash their hands. So she said it like 3 times. So I don't know. Mrs. Burns, we might need to address some hygiene things there at the middle school. I don't know, but I'm going to write them back. But I wanted to share some of the letters that I had. I thought they were really cute, but they were really good. Like, they were a nice paragraph. They signed them appropriately. Everything was as it should be, but I received those and they were great. I did pop in like for a hot minute at the band concert. Was that this week? Everything's running together. And I have to commend Mrs. Valle did an arrangement she arranged the song herself, and it was called Christmas Eve, and I'm telling you, it was amazing, and it had like Trans-Siberian Orchestra vibes. It was absolutely exquisite. She did such a phenomenal job, but it was just amazing. If you catch where somebody recorded it and on social media and you get to listen to it, please take a minute and listen to it. It was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. But I wish I could have got to the choir concert, but
it was amazing.
Was that one amazing as well? That was the night of the school concert at the school I teach at, so I didn't get to come to that one. But I always love that one as well because they sing.
Well, she ended it with Silent Night, and the whole choir circled around this entire
Did they do it with the candles?
With the lights down?
That is my favorite. So I was able to come to it last year, but I didn't get to come. This year was the school concert at the school I teach at, so I wasn't able to come. But I love coming to all the concerts, but the band one was just.
This auditorium for vocal and orchestral music is awesome.
I try to pop into as many as I can, but it's hard to hit all the things. But again, so many amazing programs here in our district. But Merry Christmas, everybody. So at this point, any other board comments? Are we good? Okay. The board will need to, we also need to determine a date and a time and a place for our organizational meeting. And we have to determine a president pro tem for that meeting at this time. So whip out your devices so we can pick a date.
Normally, it is the first Monday in November.
January.
January.
How about, yes, let's not go back, please. I can't
Please, let's
relive
not
these.
rewind.
You've been reading Paul's thing too
Oh my
much.
God.
Well, we could organize the year in 26 in November 26. That'd be helpful.
The first Monday,
Wait till Paul finds out that I went in there and changed it.
that would be the fifth, the Monday would be the fifth.
Sorry, first Wednesday. I don't even know where I'm at anymore.
It's the 7th?
Normally, the meeting is on the first Monday of the new year, which is January 7th.
The first Monday to New Year's.
Sorry, first Wednesday of January. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
January 7th.
January 7th.
Okay. Is that good for everybody? Can we do that?
Dr. Lombardo and I also talked to the two new board members coming in, and that date would be fine.
So sure, let's do it.
So
there-
Wednesday, January 7th?
Is there a
Perfect.
time? And do you want a different time than 6:30? Or is 6:30 the time?
I can do 6, I can do 6:30.
You can do 6.
I can do
Wanna do 6?
I can do 6. All right?
And then we need a president pro tem.
All right, so January
7th.
7th at 6.
And that meeting is normally held in the board office conference.
Yes. And then we need a board, president pro tem.
So if someone wants to make a motion to elect a president pro tem,
I'll make a motion to have Michele be our president pro tem.
is there a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Brock second. Did you hear him?
Yes, sorry, and I didn't put it. Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
And Mrs. Ortiz?
Motion carries. All right. The board will hold an executive session for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee or official, in conferences with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action. All matters discussed in all executive sessions are designated to the public officials and employees as confidential pursuant to Revised Code 102.03B because of the status of the proceedings and/or the circumstances under which the information will be received, and preserving its confidentiality is necessary to the proper conduct of government business. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
And Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Time is 8:58.
Can I keep this?
Where are we going?
Slide it out.
We will be taking no action when we return from executive session. Have a nice evening and Merry Christmas.
That is yours.
Thank you. Sure.
With our cards?
No, it's the one right up here.
It's
on
the
the
one
hill.
up, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or do you want to set over here?
Oh, absolutely.
Stayed the whole time. That was pretty impressive.
Like right here, is that okay?
What were they cards, just basically?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's great. Shit's got $1 million.
$1 million? Isn't that a song?
So you're not gonna go and
If I had $1 million.
Stadium sketch. What is that?
Thank you for everything.
Well, that's
thank you.
probably version 5, the revision of what we,
For letting me
as a
come here.
committee.
Yes, thank you for
came up
coming
with
here.
You're gonna do the thing,
The
right?
issue that was on the ballot in November.
Oh, that.
Vision of what the committee came up with.
I don't know that I'll
One is-
be here physically, but
Yeah,
I'll
does-
send it in.
Did they say it would cost 4.6 million to build that?
We'll see how time comes.
No, that was where the 4.6 was the difference between option 1 and option 2. But this is within the range of what the board
You're
offered
welcome. I forgot
for
to bring the paper.
the bill that was on the
I know,
ballot.
because like you said, I was very nervous, and I was like,
How much do you
good,
think
you're
this
gonna
would
get this
cost?
paid.
I'm not going to say until we all discuss it.
My main priority for this
And
bill
our
is
new
like, get back to school.
No.
So, how much does the board have in its account that it could put towards an athletic facility?
I'm not willing to comment on that right now.
But what would you put towards the last one? Would you agree to put an amount towards the last one?
4.6.
Okay, that's what you have, and it's still there.
Yes.
So what's the next step with this?
So the next step would be that when we have our organizational meeting and our new board members are sworn in, we'll continue this discussion, and then we'll bring them up to speed, and then we'll make a decision as a board as to whether or not we will move more funds over. If the board's comfortable doing that, we'll have our new policy on the books at that time. We can move forward with having folks,
It's a work in
sponsor
progress.
or
It's a work in
Merry
progress.
Christmas.
yeah.
Merry
fund different pieces of the stadium, but there's a lot of pieces that have to come into play before we can move forward.
And you say this design that was up there, that falls within the range of what you just said? Falls within the range of the difference.
The cash that we had on hand that we were gonna fund between option 1 and option 2.
Where are we going?
Falls within that.
Which was the 4.6.
Shelley, where do you want to
So what did you think of that?
Take care.
Thank you.
We're happy with it. I mean, we're listening to what the voters asked of us, and it was to do with what the money we had. And that's what we're looking at.
It's really less than what we budgeted.
Yes.
I want to get this over with, though. Where are
There's
we
no
going?
restrooms, there's no showers, limited locker room space, but again, we're listening to what the voters asked, and that's what we're doing.
Go that way?
Yep.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. I know you did in the past.
I'll turn.
And I don't know,
Yeah.
did Amy, oh, did they name like, you're welcome.
I'm sorry, I was trying to get that to you so you didn't miss it. It was
We'll figure out a way.
You can ask her, but then she's going to default to Sue. Because Sue orders them all, anybody and everybody.
Okay, so I'll mention it to you tomorrow. It's the two ones. She said, can I have this? And I'm like, oh yeah, take your name out of there. So leave me the holder. But yes, so I wrote that down. So is she,
I know we're looking for an emergency.
Wake up, man. We got this.
No, I don't.
so this is quick, right? Oh, shock, it took me $1,000 away from me today.
They don't even know what they're doing. It's so blatant.
Until I couldn't balance, I'm like, how am I not balancing? I'm like, how come we have, and then I'm like, what are the signs I'm reading? I'm like, am I in the right one? Like, right?
I'm about to go brutal on him. I'm already battling Riverside too. So. She's asking if the board has requested for him to sue me, but he came out of his capacity as a board member. So
And she can find it, if she can find it, send her the link directly so she knows where to go. Okay? All right, love ya.
He's like, I don't care if you sue him or not. I'm not
Merry
signing
Christmas.
the paper. I'm like, and they were like, well, he can't. He's going to sign pro tempore. He's like, they still can't sign. They don't have the authority to do that. That's not what the rules. There's like 2 things you can do that with. He has a rule book right on him. I'm like, man. But yeah, everyone's backing him too. So.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I know Rotino personally.
Do you? Chris is a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
Why would they do
He
that?
was a
to him?
shaker with me.
Dude, no, Chris is great. And just like Grassy. It's not Grassy's some soft lid, but you know what I mean? She's like background in finance. Yeah. And they brought that Briscoe guy in there. Did you see that? They're like, he's a professional. So I found a picture of him with this guy. He took a picture of us where he's like nudging next to him, and the guy's shirt says, "You tug of war champion." And I said, "Oh, is this the guy? His public photo with a shirt on that says that is representing school districts. Is that, so I sent it right to Fisher.
Like, why would they do that? And then what's gonna happen in January? Are they just gonna go, I wanna make a motion to reappoint,
Yeah.
Rutino again?
Yeah, well, so luckily they have to have a 21-day fall through period. So his termination hearing's on 1/4.
I mean, but just, I saw it.
Doing it to him, why would you do that?
I just sat there and went to the Capitol Conference because Superintendent of Shaker came and sat with me, and then Chris came up because we both did. I mean, it was just awful.
Yeah, really weird. Messing with Thompson like that was very interesting though.
Well, then my sister sent me the,
Sorry.
Nope.
an audit committee meeting the last week too. And that guy on there, I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah.
He's Fisher's crony.
Yeah.
Who's also pushing that $3 million project. And then they're having a special meeting before the regular meeting tomorrow, but there's no agenda on the special meeting.
Yeah. No, they keep it like, we should tell them,
Okay.
no, this is not, they keep it.
Okay.
So there's nothing,